Defend yourself against DDoS attacks by hiding your true IP address with ExpressVPN, and visit my custom link expressvpn.com/ghilliemaster in the description to find out how you can get an extra 3 months free. With the Criminal Enterprises DLC, Rockstar gave some older cars the HSW treatment, and with the recent announcement of the next DLC, I'm hoping that we see even more older vehicles get that same treatment. So in this video, I want to go over what vehicles I think would be deserving of an HSW upgrade, and this list is going to be based off of vehicles that I think are popular or once were popular in the community, and also ones that I just think would be fun to have. It also contains quite a few vehicles, so it's highly unlikely that all these would be added at one time, but it can serve as a list for any future DLCs as well. So starting off for the Supercars class, I have to put the Adder here. The most OG supercar. It used to be the most expensive supercar in the entire game back in the day and one of the best for racing. Obviously this is not the case anymore, but with an HSW upgrade it could retake that crown. Plus I think it would be really neat to see the Adder with spoiler options, considering it doesn't have an active spoiler like a lot of the other more modern supercars do nowadays. Even though its real-life counterpart did have an active spoiler, so just some more spoiler options would be cool to see. Overall it would be a great vehicle to have as an HSW variant. Next is its rival, the Entity XF. How cool would it be to once again have the rivalry between the two OG supercars? If you played back in the early days of GTA Online, it was always the Entity XF versus the Adder for the top class. There's like a huge argument amongst the community about which one was better. And it would be so awesome to spark that rivalry again by giving the two most iconic cars of GTA Online HSW upgrades. The Zentorno would also be a good fit because the Zentorno was the go-to supercar for a long time. I mean, there was a time where you saw everyone in free mode driving this car, and that was where you had the whole back up and shoot thing because people would take advantage of its bulletproof back. So funny that we used to complain about players doing that. If only we knew what we had to deal with in today's GTA Online lobbies. Anyways, back on topic, the Zentorno was a really iconic supercar. I'm pretty sure it also got some more customization in the last update if I'm not wrong, so it's already primed for the HSW treatment. The Standard Bullet is another supercar that deserves some more upgrades. This car with spoiler and livery options would be very much appreciated. Right now, the Bullet really doesn't have anything going for it in terms of performance or visual modifications. A lot of people, I think, would appreciate an overhaul. And there's also a chance they could just make a new variant or version of the 4GT and throw HSW on it as well. And lastly, for the Supercars class, the Sultan RS. And I guess this is kind of an early look ahead into the sports class too, because I have the Standard Sultan and the Sultan RS as candidates for HSW upgrades. Of course, the Sultan gets put in the Supers class when you upgrade it at Benny's to the RS variant. And I think I would honestly prefer just the regular Sultan to get the upgrade though, kind of like how the regular Banshee got the HSW upgrade instead of the 900R variant, which is in the Supers class. For anyone that has played GTA Online since the very early days, even counting GTA 4 Online, the Sultan was always one of the most sought after vehicles. In GTA 4, it only had, I think, one guaranteed spawn point on the map. And in GTA Online's early days, you couldn't buy it. You had to find it on the street to keep it as your own, which was easier said than done. So at the time, you had all these people asking, yo, where'd you get your Sultan at? Where do you find it? And you had all these videos made like about where to find it. People said that you could find it in like the prison parking lot. I think that's actually where I also get mine. A lot of longtime players would definitely appreciate this vehicle getting some recognition. I'm going to start picking up the pace a little bit now because we do have a lot of vehicles to get through and I don't want to waste too much of your time and make this like a 20-minute video. So the next few sports cars I think would be a good fit on top of the Sultan are the Massacro, the Coquette, and the Feltzer. The Massacro was once my favorite sports car, and to this day I still think it's one of the best looking sports cars, so I might be kind of biased towards it, but even as far as racing goes, the Massacro, Coquette, and Feltzer were very common choices back in the day, so seeing them pop up once again in upgraded form would be nice. And lastly, the Jaguar Classic I think deserves an HSW upgrade. I could be wrong, but I think this car can be used in both Sports Classic races and sports races. Might be wrong on that though. In any case, the HSW upgrade would fit both classes, although right now the Jaguar Classic drives really odd, so they'd probably have to fix that before giving it an upgrade, but I still think it would be nice to see this thing go extremely fast. Moving on to muscle, I have quite a few here. First up, the Dominator, and this could be either the regular or the GTX variant because we know how lackluster the GTX variant was in terms of performance. The Duke, Stallion, and Phoenix I think would also be good candidates, and for the last two in the muscle class for HSW, I thought why not do something unique and give either the Hot Knife or the Hustler two hot rod style cars in HSW upgrade. I admit I was a little inspired by the Weevil Custom that we just got in the last update with this, because the Weevil Custom is just so much fun to drive. It's got a really fast top speed, its engine power is crazy, and just seeing some really fast hot rod vehicles on the road or in racing would spice up the game a bit and make muscle car racing a bit more fun. Getting into sports classics, I only have a few here, the Coquette Classic and the Z-Type. The Z-Type I think would be the most likely one here though. With an HSW variant, it could really give the Sterling GT a run for its money, I feel. But I also wouldn't mind the Coquette Classic getting an upgrade, or maybe something like the Monroe or the Stinger, some of the lesser known vehicles that have been there since day one. For motorcycles, the Batty 801 is an obvious choice. This is by far the most common bike, or was the most common bike before the Hakuchu Drag HSW released. I suppose they could do something like the Akuma or one of the lesser used bikes like the Ruffian, and I personally wouldn't mind if they did that, but if they were going to go by popularity alone, definitely the Batty. And I'm sure they would give it a very steep upgrade cost just because the regular price for the Batty is only like 18,000 or somewhere around there. It's very cheap. So to offset that, they'd most likely give it a very expensive upgrade fee. To finish off with motorcycles, I also had another idea. Instead of just sports bikes getting an upgrade, why not include a chopper style bike, something like the Nightblade or the Zombie Chopper. Imagine one of those two bikes just zooming down the road at super high speeds. Anything that brings more variety, I always welcome. For SUVs, I'm not really too into the SUV class if I'm being honest, but the Huntley S getting an HSW upgrade would be neat, even though it's really not a racing kind of SUV, it's more of a luxury SUV. Maybe the Cavalcade would be neat to see with an upgrade, bring back those Need for Speed Underground 2 vibes of driving a juiced up Escalade. I actually wouldn't mind that, or even the Dubsta if they were to do that too. And finally, we have the Compacts class, and these are just more so for fun and meant to be jokes, but the Panto and Weenie Issy, I think, should both get HSW upgrades. The Panto would probably be uncontrollable at high speeds, I'm sure. The Issy would probably be alright and useful for racing even, but just for the memes, having the Panto capable of going super fast would be hilarious. Anyways, that is my list of vehicles that I would like to see get HSW upgrades. Do you agree with my choices, or is there another vehicle that you would want to see get an upgrade that I didn't list here? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more GTA Online content. I want to give a huge shout out to all my channel members for your support. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.